with you. 3 years ago, I woke up every morning already losing. I'd grab my phone before my eyes even adjusted, scroll through everyone else's perfect lives, and feel this heavy, invisible weight pressing on my chest. Ever felt that? That split second in the morning where you already know the day's gonna punch you in the face? Yeah, that would be. Until one morning, I hit a breaking point that flipped everything. Hey, I'm Emily, and I learned the hard and messy way that the first 30 minutes of your morning can either destroy your momentum or make you unstoppable. And today, I want to tell you the story of the moment I finally got tired of being tired, and the 3 tiny habits that rebuilt my confidence, my career, and honestly, my sanity. But let me start with the moment everything cracked. One Monday, I woke up late again, panic already buzzing under my skin. I spilled coffee on my shirt, missed an important meeting because I couldn't find my laptop charger, and I remember staring at my reflection in the elevator mirror thinking, is this really gonna be my life at 32? Just chaos and reaction? My energy felt dead. My mood was unpredictable. And I felt like I was constantly sprinting after a day that was already pulling a bunch from me. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat on my bed in this weird quiet, scrolling through random articles when I stumbled on something that hit me like a punch. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. James Clear wrote that in Atomic Habits. And damn, it stung. Because I had goals, big ones, but 0 systems, 0 routines, 0 structure. The next morning, something wild happened. I woke up before my alarm, not on purpose, just stress. But instead of grabbing my phone, I sat there in the dark and thought, what if I just start today differently? I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a 15-step luxury routine like people post on TikTok. I just said, all right, Emily, do one thing. So I walked to the kitchen, poured a glass of water, and opened a blank notebook. And I wrote one sentence. I'm grateful I woke up. It felt awkward, almost stupid, but something softened in me. That was habit number 1. I didn't know it yet, but gratitude was about to save me. And since we're talking honestly, my old mornings were a total disaster. Wake up late, rush, stress, crash, repeat. But for the first time in forever, I felt like I had a handle on something, even if it was tiny. The next day, I added a second thing, a 2-minute stretch. That's it. The day after, a short walk. Within 2 weeks, my mornings looked completely different, not glamorous, not Instagram-worthy, but stable. And I can't explain how powerful stable feels when your life's been chaotic for years. Let me tell you the real turning point, though. It was about a month in. I was sitting on my balcony at sunrise, warm blanket around me, notebook on my lap, and I realized I wasn't dreading my day anymore. I wasn't waking up with fear. I wasn't starting on empty. I felt energy, confidence, space. And that's when it clicked. Your morning isn't just the start of your day, it's the start of your story. So let me share the exact 3 habits that changed everything for me. Not theories, not fake productivity hacks, real habits that rebuilt me from the ground up. And I promise, they're small enough that even the exhausted version of you can do them. First, wake up 10 minutes earlier than usual. Not 2 hours, not joining the 5 a.m. club, just 10 minutes. Those 10 minutes are breathing room, a quiet pocket of life that belongs only to you. And here's the truth nobody talks about. It's not the time that matters. It's the message. You're telling yourself, I'm choosing my day instead of reacting to it. And that shift alone can transform everything. Second, gratitude journaling. I know, sounds cheesy. But here's the thing. Your brain is naturally wired to scan for danger. Gratitude forces it to scan for safety, for good, for possibility. Every morning, I write 3 things. Something tiny, something personal, something I'm looking forward to. That's it. I swear this is the habit that changed my mood, my patience, my confidence, and even my relationships. Because when you train your brain to look for good, you start creating more of it. Third, move your body. Nothing intense. No gym membership needed, just 5 minutes, a stretch, a walk, a few squats while brushing your teeth. Because motion creates emotion. And when your body wakes up, your mind wakes up with it. It sounds simple, but when I started moving every morning, my energy stopped crashing at 2 p.m. My creativity shot up. I felt sharper, lighter, more alive. And look, I'm not saying you'll magically love mornings overnight. I'm not saying your life becomes a sunshine-filled montage. But what I'm saying is this. Small morning habits are the seeds that grow big life changes. If you want the recap, here it is, quick and clean. Wake up 10 minutes earlier. Write 3 gratitude lines. Move your body for 5 minutes. 3 habits, under 20 minutes. 0 excuses. Do this for 1 month, and your life will look different, I promise. This routine didn't just give me energy. It gave me control. It gave me momentum. It gave me belief again. And if you want to go deeper, Atomic Habits was the spark that started my transformation. I'll drop the link below because honestly, it's become one of my yearly rereads. So if you're tired of waking up stressed, if you're tired of rushing through life on autopilot, if you're tired of feeling like the day owns you instead of the other way around, start tomorrow morning with intention. Start with 1 tiny habit. Start with faith that even small steps can move mountains. And listen, if this story hit you, if you felt even a flicker of, I need this, then do me a favor, hit like, subscribe for more stories that lift you up, and drop a comment telling me the 1 morning habit you're gonna start tomorrow. Because your new chapter, it starts when you do Let's Level Up, 1 morning at a time.